Good evening, everybody. All right. Thrilled to see the AP Gov students in the house. Adequate notice of this meeting, as required by the Open Public Meetings Act, was provided through the posting, mailing, and filing of the annual notice of regularly scheduled meetings of the Town Council on December 12, 2023. The notice was, on that date, posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building, provided to the Westfield Leader and the Star Ledger, and filed with the clerk of the Town of Westfield. Ms. Lashy, may I have a roll call?
Mayor Brindle.
Here.
Council members Hapgood.
Here.
Dardia.
Here.
Domagala.
Here.
Kiefer.
Here.
Saunders.
Here.
Armenta.
Here.
Contract. Here. Mack.
Here. Please rise for the invocation, which will be given by Councilman Contract, and remain standing for this salute.
We seek blessings on the task before us. Bless our efforts with clear insight, our deliberations with wisdom, our work with clarity and accuracy, and our decisions with impartiality. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any comments? Oh, no. You got enough? We're done? Okay, well, before we get into comments in the agenda, we do have one proclamation here tonight. Is Arthur Dubov here? Oh, there you are. Come on up, Arthur. So tonight we're going to begin with a proclamation to recognize Jewish American Heritage Month. As hopefully we've said over and over again, we are a community where hate and prejudice are not tolerated. And tonight we welcome the opportunity to honor the contributions and heritage of our Jewish American friends and neighbors to further our efforts towards being an inclusive and welcoming community. So I want to thank Arthur Dubov from the Combat Anti-Semitism Movement for joining us tonight for this proclamation. So this is Jewish American Heritage Month in May this year. Whereas Jewish immigrants to America, ever since their first arrival to our shores in the 16th century, have played a central role in the creation, growth, freedom, prosperity, and strength of the United States. And whereas the biblical and contemporary history of the Jewish people and the enduring values of the Jewish faith were vital sources of inspiration for the founding of the United States, the Civil Rights Movement, America's global leadership in the cause of freedom, Americans' commitment to social justice, and many of our country's most central tenets. And whereas the United States was the first country in the world to recognize the State of Israel in 1948, and over the years has developed a deep friendship and unbreakable alliance with the State of Israel based upon shared values and mutual interests. And whereas Jewish Americans have played an important role in shaping American culture, making significant contributions to the arts, entertainment, science, and technology, government, business, culinary traditions, and other fields in the United States. And whereas for 43 years, every president of the United States has declared a period of time for celebrating the contributions to the United States of the Jewish community's history, heritage, and culture. And since 2006, the month of May has been presidentially declared to be Jewish American Heritage Month, pursuant to a bipartisan resolution of Congress. Now therefore, I, Mayor Shelley Brindle, on behalf of the Town Council, do hereby declare and proclaim May 2024 to be Jewish American Heritage Month in the town of Westfield, and call upon all of our citizens to commemorate this occasion by appropriately celebrating the contributions to our country and the town of Westfield of the Jewish community's history, heritage, and culture. So thank you so much for being here. Back to Brooklyn. Okay.
I can say a few words. Thank you all so much. So May is Jewish American Heritage Month, and the Combat Anti-Semitism Movement is a global organization made up of over 800 organizations that are interfaith, intercultural, and proclaiming Jewish American Heritage Month for May is one of our big achievements for this month. Last year, over 150 mayors did it, and this year we're projecting around 200 to 300. So thank you for being a part of it.
Happy to do it. Thank you for being here. Absolutely. Okay, so actually we have lots of really great things to chat about tonight. A few things that are of interest to everybody. It has been a very busy few weeks in downtown with one ribbon cutting after another, so I just want to make sure everybody's aware of all the latest. Vifo Vietnamese restaurant recently opened in the former Mulberry House space, I have to say. Don Mackey and Todd Saunders. We had a great lunch there, and they're open. Please go visit. It's fantastic. Another exciting new opening is the Terrace Plant Shop. I have to say, you know, I have never known people were going to be so excited about plants, but I've received more positive comments on this on my social media. They are currently at a pop-up location at 122 Elm Street, which is across from Adams Tavern, before they move into the permanent space at the former Juxtaposed Gallery space on Elm Street. Hummus Republic is now open in the former Akai space. Superfly, which is a bungee-based fitness studio, opened in the former Little Nut space, and they actually do this thing with, you can bring your baby and carry it. It's pretty cool. I talked to the owner the other day. The Town Bookstore also held an official grand reopening under their new owner, Lisa Schwartz, and so fantastic that ensuring that this town treasure will remain downtown destination for years. Alpha Fit Club in Westfield has opened its newly expanded flagship location at Westfield Crossing at 425 South Avenue. And the long-awaited Faraday, which is in the former Williams-Sonoma space, opens this Friday. So, it's the days of high vacancy rates, where every business closing brought anxiety about the health and vitality of our downtown, seem to be behind us for now. I just remember every time I'd get a notice about a closing, I'd get this like pit in my stomach for how long. But I think the recent anticipated closing of the popular liquor store Nos Vinos on Central Avenue is a perfect example of that. So in that case, Bottle King actually purchased the Nos Vinos liquor license about 2 years ago, and they were keeping the store open until their lease ended this month. So they are currently pocketing their liquor license for now as they seek a much larger space, and the property owner was very excited and optimistic about leasing this prominent space very quickly when I spoke to him last week. And there's one other thing, Jim, that I don't know if I mentioned to you. One thing I always ask our new business owners is how the process was going through our buildings and permitting process to open. Universally, they will tell you there is no place better than Westfield to open a business. And you take what Alpha Fit, for example, that now has about 20 locations around the state, they will tell you Westfield is a walk in the park. So it's really a tribute to Frank Voso and the buildings department, and actually this council, which has invested in a lot of automation, all the permitting is online, and our goal was to save our people and allow them to do only what people can do, and allow the online and automation to enable what people can do themselves. So I think we're seeing the results of that in the businesses, and I know one downtown property owner who's now buying a lot of new properties said he's choosing Westfield for that very reason, is that time is money, and when you can get a business to open quickly, it means a lot. So just want to say congrats to Frank and make sure that everybody is aware of that. And speaking of those openings, though, I recently joined a group of town employees, there's a whole bunch of us, and some planning board members for a tour of Westfield Crossing on South Avenue. It has begun leasing units in their first building that was recently completed, and the second building next door is scheduled to be open in August. The transformation of what was an abandoned industrial space into high-quality residential buildings with amazing amenities, pool, putting green, crazy, and they're actually leasing at a very brisk pace. What is also remarkable, and they noted this as well, is that the 17,000 square feet of retail space that they have is fully leased before they even open their doors. As I mentioned, the recent opening of Alpha Fit Club's flagship location is there, and the anticipated opening of Apple Montessori will be occupying the remainder of the space, and they anticipate to be opening school year in September. Additionally, what I think many of us are very excited about is that work is about to begin on the public plaza, which is across the street, which will include like beautiful fixed seating, art, a beautiful landscaping, which will serve as a very welcoming gateway to Westfield, better than the old kind of abandoned car stuff there now. And this plaza was made possible as a result of the redevelopment agreement we negotiated with the developer, Elite Properties, which required them to create this plaza and deed it over to the town, while also making a contribution to our park improvement fund to offset the completed Windsor Park playground improvements, as well as some upcoming improvements to other parks in town. But I think in addition to all of that, what we should all be very proud of is the 32 affordable housing units that Westfield Crossing will ultimately deliver. It's a significant advancement of our affordable housing obligations and one of the many reasons we are in such good standing with the Fair Share Housing Center. This will not only help in our upcoming 4th round of affordable housing negotiations, which we as council will about to embark upon, but it also shields us from potential costly litigation and keeps us in control of future development. You have to look no further than what happened in Millburn recently after their new council rejected a court-approved affordable housing project. Just so you understand the consequences of that, the Fair Share Housing Center successfully appealed the Millburn Council's decision, resulting in the judge revoking Millburn's immunity from builder's remedy lawsuits, required the town to pay all attorney fees, and appointed a special master to determine where the affordable units would be built, irrespective of what the zoning laws permit and irrespective of what the council wants. So my point in sharing this as we are about to embark on our 4th round is to remind our residents of what's at stake regarding our affordable housing obligations. It's no joke. And it's why Williams Nursery, for example, could not be anything but inclusionary housing without significant risk to Westfield, since it was included in our affordable housing plan in 1991. So I have expressed my concerns about the recently passed affordable housing legislation, and they remain, but mostly it's related to the uncertainty of how our obligations will be calculated. But the completion of projects, recent projects like Westfield Crossing, and the good stead it keeps us in with Fair Share will only be helpful as we begin the 4th round process. So you're going to hear a lot about affordable housing over the next 12 plus months, but I just want to make sure everybody understands the importance of it and the complexity of it, which we'll all be involved in. So beyond that, lots of ribbon cuttings. There are lots of events that are coming in May. I want to let everybody know in celebration of National Preservation Month, the Historic Preservation Commission and the Public Arts Commission have teamed up to host a special photography exhibit at the Rialto Sidewalk Gallery throughout May. It's titled Westfield Then and Now. And actually, Jenny Jaruzelski sent me a few photos, which I thought were amazing. It's vintage photos sourced from the archives of the Westfield Historical Society alongside present-day views of what exists there, and some of them are kind of fun. I saw some props, including the police department, are in there, so it's kind of cute. And the DWC has doing their Saturday Spring into Fitness series. I was down there on Saturday on Quimby. There's a bunch of outdoor fitness classes with different fitness and studios performing. Now it's going to be on Saturdays at Foundation Park through June 29th. The Saturdays class will be hosted by Alpha Fit Club, and next Saturday is going to be hosted by Mag PT Pilates. So please check the DWC on all the information for the full website, and I was told to make sure you bring your own yoga mat. Also want to let everybody know that the Westfield Clergy Association, in partnership with the Westfield High School Community Service Club and the Police Department, they're conducting a town-wide food drive this weekend, May 3rd through 5th. Donations going to the Westfield Food Pantry and its associated smaller pantries. So please consider donating food items on Saturday, May 4th, from 10 to 1. You can drive up to the Edison Intermediate School parking lot and any church between Friday through Sunday, and financial donations are also accepted. And another exciting Brightwood Park Day is going to be held this Saturday. It looks like it's going to be a nice day. Lots of fun in the park, birding walks, nature photography, forest bathing, which is always popular, planting pollinator patches, historical walking tour, and so forth. So some events require advanced registration, so please go on to friendsofbrightwood.org for more information. And it's a great collaboration between Friends of Brightwood, the Recreation Department, and the Green Team. So incredible, very popular, family-friendly events. And Spring Fling is this Sunday from 10 to 5. The Chamber of Commerce runs this event. It's in its 33rd year. This year they're added, I think, live music on Quimby. I think there's like apparently dinosaurs walking around town or something, but it's supposed to be incredible. So I hope weather cooperates and Sunday will be a really fun day, so be sure and stop by. And very importantly, Girls' Night Out returns on Thursday, May 9th. It's an 80s themed evening of shopping. So bring your 80s, dress up in your 80s gear, listen to some 80s music, and to get some of the freebies, you have to register on the DWC website. So all of them, and all these information is on our town website as well. And more downtown fun, Open Quimby. I want to thank the Department of Public Works for their work in getting it ready for another season. All the usual stuff that people have come to love, you know, the sweet sounds, etc. I think tents and stuff are going up this week, right? So today. So it should all be up, ready for fun, and we'll be up in time for Spring Fling on Sunday as well. So you're going to see some little updates, some lighting and planters and other decor. So hopefully it's going to be ready for another great spring and summer season. And then lastly, just regarding tonight's agenda, we have some very important items to cover this evening. From the Finance Policy Committee, there's the ordinance on second reading for the adoption of the DWC down to the Special Improvement District budget. And of course, our municipal budget, and which we have the chance to talk about again. I have to say, I think it's the best budget. Honestly, I can't imagine there's been a better budget ever introduced to the town. A 0% municipal tax increase and a historic $15.4 million surplus. So it's a really great night for all, and lots of investment and really fun things. And there is also tonight first reading to add a handicap space on Summit Avenue at the request of a resident in need, and a no parking area on Grove Street. And we're also tonight's ordinance on second reading for the installation of a four-way stop at the intersection of Clark Street and Dudley Avenue. We spoke to some of the residents at our earlier conference session about that. So hopefully we'll create some enhanced safety measures in town. So with that, get on to the agenda at hand. Ms. Lashy, are there any advertised hearings?
Yes, Mayor, there are 3 advertised hearings. First is for General Ordinance 2024-08, an ordinance to amend the Code of the Town of Westfield, Chapter 13. Anyone wishing to be heard on General Ordinance 2024-08, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing no one, Mayor, you may close the hearing.
This hearing is closed.
Next is the public hearing for the 2024 Special Improvement District budget. Anyone wishing to be heard on the 2024 Special Improvement budget, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing no one, Mayor, you may close the hearing.
This hearing is closed.
Last is the public hearing for the 2024 municipal budget. Anyone wishing to be heard on the 2024 municipal budget, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Thank you. Hi, Jennifer Gilman, 1750 Florida Street. Coming to really just thank you for presenting such a fantastic budget. Thank you to Councilwoman Habgood and to the entire Finance Committee. I'm here as a resident, but also as the chairwoman of the Recreation Commission. I'm really thrilled and excited to see the inclusion of the funds for the Memorial Playground renovation. This is something we've been talking about for a couple of years over at the Rection, so anyone who's been reading our minutes or attending our meetings will know that we're really excited about this first Monday night of the month. And not only is this going to be a playground that gets tons of use, it already does and already needs to be redone, but the fact that our new Recreation Department Director, when she came in, heard of the need and the want to redo it, that she took the initiative to push the project further to be a fully inclusive and accessible playground. So all of our playgrounds in town are ADA accessible, but this playground is going to be similar to how Mindawaskan was designed. Not the same, it's going to be different, but a fully inclusive playground. And that's something that as a Recreation Commission, and I know this administration takes really seriously, and so we're thrilled to do it, and I'm so happy that the funds are there. So thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for your service, Jim.
Seeing no additional comments, Mayor, you may close the hearing.
This hearing is closed. Councilman Dardia, please move for the adoption of General Ordinance Number 2024-08.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I move for the adoption of this ordinance for always stop at Dudley and Clark, I want to first thank Council members Habgood and Saunders for meeting with the neighbors, taking the time to hear their thoughts, get their concerns. While we work very hard at the Public Safety Committee to bring in our experts and, of course, hear their recommendations and follow their recommendations, getting the voice of the residents is of paramount concern. To install something like this is it's a huge undertaking, but we need to get, and that's why we need to get the residents' thoughts and their concerns, and we appreciate it. Up until this evening at our 7 p.m. conference session, we had a number of folks there, and we heard them out, and we appreciate their concerns. And if it passes, the installation of this always stop does not work out, we'll go back to the drawing board and look at other solutions to improve matters. So with that, I would like to move for the adoption of General Ordinance Number 2024-08, an ordinance to amend the code of the Town of Westfield, Chapter 13.
May I have a second?
Second.
By Councilman Armento. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmembers Habgood,
Yes.
Dardia,
Yes.
Domagala,
Yes.
Kiefer,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Armento,
Yes.
Contract,
Yes.
Mackey, Mayor Rendell.
Yes, this motion is carried. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from the Town Council Conference and regular meetings of April 9th, 2024? A second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Hapgood. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? This motion is carried. Now it's time for open discussion by citizens. Anyone may come up to the microphone and speak to the council on any subject on which we have jurisdiction. Please state your name and address for the record, and please limit your comments to 5 minutes.
Rich Panikiewski, 233 Charles Street. Good evening. 3 weeks ago, I read a letter to the mayor and town council regarding a request for a cumulative impact study to investigate the combined effect of all of the planned construction on Westfield's infrastructure. I'm back to continue our conversation. As you are already aware, I'm a licensed professional engineer who is affiliated with the Westfield Advocates for Responsible Development. We have tracked over 20 large construction projects that have been built or approved since 2017. 4 of these projects, the Sophia, 1 Westfield Place, Westfield Crossing, and the Williams Nursery redevelopment site, include large numbers of new dwellings units in small footprints with vertical construction to previously unprecedented building heights. There have been approximately 950 new dwelling units approved for construction, which is in addition to approximately 350,000 square feet of approved non-residential use space. The Westfield Advocates are unaware of any coordinated investigation which takes a cumulative, all-inclusive approach to identify and establish the combined impacts of all planned and approved construction. The Master Plan Reexamination Report, as approved in 2019, does not incorporate projects like the Sophia and 1 Westfield Place. Such widespread construction will have a major impact on the traffic, infrastructure, and everyday life activities of the town. Although no past benchmarks likely exist, the changes in things like domestic water, electric, and gas requirements, anticipated sewage and stormwater flows, pedestrian and vehicular traffic, artificial lighting levels, and so on can be predicted using proven scientific and engineering methods. At the conclusion of the April 9th meeting, Mayor Brindle addressed me by advising me twice that my comments are duly noted. Thank you for those comments, Madam Mayor. Unfortunately, I was hoping to hear a more proactive response. As such, tonight I'll provide you with some further information regarding our potable water supply. This past February 26th, the draft 2024 New Jersey statewide water supply plan was released for public comment. This document, which is issued by the State of New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, serves as a resource for managing the state's water resources to ensure that there is an adequate supply of quality water for present and future generations of New Jerseyans and to protect the natural environment of our waterways. The document is quite comprehensive and covers issues such as statewide water supply availability, climate change impact on water availability, drought resilience, sustainability, water resource protection, and planning efforts, demand and usage accountability, and recommendations for action moving forward. As the document is quite technical in nature and spans all of 288 pages, I won't bore you with the granular level details. I will, however, make you aware of one major point which I feel is critically important to our efforts as a town to remain on top of the list of the best communities in New Jersey to live. Chapter 4 of the draft water supply plan covers statewide water demands and balances. In layman's terms, this chapter covers our state's water sources, demand and usage, future water needs, and an analysis of impacts and shortfalls. The chapter includes a summary of statewide water availability now and in the future. Current usage and trends are derived from state monitoring and reporting systems that were put in place as a result of the 1981 Water Supply Management Act. Future needs are based on the results as published in a 2018 report commissioned by the NJDEP and performed by Rutgers University. The Rutgers report accounts for population shifts, weather trends, changes in demand trends, and changes in water supply system status. The Rutgers report was recently updated to reflect demographic changes and shifts in population throughout the state as reported by the 2020 census. The Rutgers report does not account for anticipated changes in population due to construction and local development. At this point, I'm going to turn the microphone over to my wife, Ann, who is the next speaker and who will finish presenting my letter tonight.
Ann Panikiewski, 233 Charles Street. With reference to my husband's last point regarding Chapter 4, the state is divided into 20 watershed management areas, also called WMAs. Table 4.1, which is located on page 131 of the 288-page draft water supply plan, summarizes current and projected water usage and availability to reflect the big picture of water availability throughout the state. Mayor Brindle, the key result that you need to be aware of from Chapter 4, and for that matter, from the entire 288-page draft water supply plan, is the fact that 3 of the 20 WMAs have current demands which exceed sustainable thresholds. In layman's English, this translates to shortages in water supply being predicted in these 3 WMAs. The WMAs under concern are areas numbered 7, 15, and 17. I'm not so much concerned about areas 15 and 17, which are located in the southernmost counties of New Jersey. I am, however, extremely concerned about WMA number 7. Westfield is located in Area 7, along with Scotch Plains, Fanwood, Garwood, and Cranford. Yes, Mayor, we've made the list. Unfortunately, this is not a list that we want to be a part of. As an important reminder, these results do not account for any localized construction or development. This is because Rutgers University has no idea regarding what we are currently building or are planning to build here in Westfield. No engineering training is necessary to understand my next point. Ordinary common sense will tell us that the large number of dwellings and associated water users that will result from the current and planned construction will only serve to exacerbate the problems identified by the state and will also create localized hotspot problems. One such example is the area in the vicinity of 1 Westfield Place. Mayor Brindle, I again implore you and the town council to take action to commence a cumulative impact study. The time to look at these issues is now, while many of our projects are still lines on a piece of paper that can be modified. This small, prudent investment will provide valuable information pertaining to current and future capital budget priorities. On behalf of myself and Rich Panikiewski, thank you.
Hello, my name is Dr. Walter Korfmacher. I live at 252 Hazel Avenue in Westfield, and I am a scientist and a long-term resident of Westfield. As a scientist, I believe that the issue of climate change is one that we should focus on now, as we only have a short time to do what we need to do to prevent the worst potential effects of climate change in the future. This means we must work at the national level as well as the state level and the local level to make the changes that are necessary. The biggest issue is greenhouse gas emissions. These are produced in large part by the burning of fossil fuels. Therefore, I want to voice my support for the Climate Action Plan resolution that will be voted on tonight. This resolution will start a process where the town of Westfield will look for ways to reduce the total greenhouse gas emissions produced by the town of Westfield, both the municipal government as well as the town businesses and citizens. The town of Westfield can play a role by placing solar panels on municipal buildings and parking lots, and by encouraging homeowners to add solar panels to the rooftops of their homes. The town of Westfield can play a role by buying electric or hybrid vehicles for its municipal fleet, and by adding more EV car charging spots to the municipal parking lots. The town of Westfield can play a role by encouraging people to bike into downtown when possible. The town of Westfield can play a role by encouraging people to replace their old gas water heaters with new electric heat pump water heaters. These are just a few examples of how we can act locally to do our part. In conclusion, I want to voice my support for the Climate Action Plan resolution, and I ask all members of the Town Council to vote in favor of this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Audrey Zavitz, and I live at 516 North Chestnut Street. I've been a resident of Westfield for 37 years. As a former teacher and principal in town, I know how lucky we are to live in Westfield, a town that not only cares about the health of its residents, but also the health of the planet. I would like to voice my unwavering support for the Climate Action Plan resolution, and I would encourage all members of the Town Council to vote in favor of it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Amity Harster. I live at 841 Summit Avenue. As a Westfield resident of 3 years, I also support the approval of the Community Action Plan resolution. This resolution should ensure that our town can continue to move forward with the New Jersey and exceed the New Jersey state goals to reduce greenhouse gases by 2050. It's my understanding that the town of Westfield has 0.35% of New Jersey's population, but 0.53% of New Jersey's residential greenhouse gas emissions. Therefore, I think our town plays an integral role in doing our part in combating against greenhouse gases, and I encourage you all to support for the approval of the Community Action Plan resolution. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ron Positon. I'm an alcoholic, 113 Sussex Street, Westfield, New Jersey. For some time now, I've been engaged in a battle between the Westfield Police Department and the council has gotten in the way of the crossfire, and I have done some improper emails and some mean things to the council, and I just want to apologize for my actions because you don't deserve this, you don't deserve that. And if there's anything I can do that could help or assist this town in any way, you can email me. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for coming forward.
Hi, Erica Whitty, 341 West Dudley Avenue. I've been a Westfield resident for the past 7 years, and I am the co-founder of Project Playground in Westfield, which is a charitable initiative to make the school playgrounds in Westfield more accessible and inclusive for children of all abilities. I wanted to just spend a few minutes giving an update on our efforts and talk a little bit about community involvement. First off, I just want to say that I think the town has done a really great job, Jim and the rec department. When I think about playgrounds like Mindawaskin, they're, the most inclusive playgrounds in the state, and I'm really excited about Memorial and hopefully Tamaqua in the future. Also, I just want to thank Mayor Brindle and Todd Saunders, who've really helped us get the word out about this initiative. But just for some background, this is very personal. I have a daughter at Franklin, a son at Lincoln, and my son uses a mobility device. He uses a walker for mobility. So when a few years ago we took a look at Lincoln and went on the playground, there was nothing accessible really there, and so that meant that he wasn't really going to get to participate as much with his fellow peers. And then, I started going to baseball games, soccer games at the different elementary schools for my daughter, and we couldn't use, my son couldn't use the playground at any of the elementary schools because there's no accessible equipment at any of the schools. So really, when you think about early childhood education, play on the playground, it's so important for development, for socialization. And I just really felt like this is something that needed to change. So in less than a year, we formed Project Playground. It was all private, community funded. We raised $135,000 to add 6 pieces of accessible equipment, accessible surfacing to the playgrounds at Lincoln School, which is kindergarten and pre-K. We also initiated a program with Westfield High School where we started, it's called the Young Designer Program, and it's high school volunteers. They created inclusive signage, communication boards, which are now featured at Lincoln. We're gonna expand it to the other schools, and it also just was featured with Westfield Soccer. So we're really excited to now expand this to Franklin School, Franklin Elementary, as well as Jefferson Elementary, and hopefully additional schools in the future. Franklin, our goal is $150,000 to add accessible equipment and other inclusive pieces. And I'm excited to say that we're at over $90,000 in funds raised from the community, whether that be families, local organizations, local businesses. Jefferson, we started a little bit later, and we're excited to say that we're at over $30,000. So really, I just wanted to say, for parents who have kids attending the schools, for neighbors who maybe their kids went through the school system or their grandchildren are in the school system, this is a great way to give back to the community, and there's various ways to do this. There's opportunity for businesses to sponsor the playgrounds, and there's signage associated with that. There's opportunities to donate a piece of equipment, a bench, a table, also engraved bricks that'll be a walkway. So there's lots of different opportunities. Jefferson's having an event on Friday. So you could follow us. We have our own Instagram. It's called Project Playground Westfield. And we also, if you Google Westfield Project Playground Franklin or Westfield Project Playground Jefferson, you can get right to the donation page. So I really appreciate the council, getting the word out there so that we can meet our goal and so that really children can all play together regardless of their abilities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Peter Goldberg. I live at 463 Edgewood Avenue, and I am here to speak in favor of the Climate Action Plan resolution. As many, maybe all of you are aware, the Green Team has put a lot of effort into scoping out potential climate actions, and we've put a lot of effort into creating a very long document that is well-researched, well-considered, detailed, and actionable. But it will only be useful if we actually act on it. And I'm encouraging you guys to pass this resolution as a path along taking those kinds of actions. I think it's both morally correct and deeply practical. On the moral side, we've identified a number of actions that don't cost us a lot today, aren't terribly difficult today, but will save future generations a lot of trouble down the line. It will also save us a lot of trouble down the line because climate change is not that far out. I am very close to middle-aged, but the big effects of climate change will likely hit before I retire. So that's why one of the reasons that I think it's morally correct. It's also deeply practical because there's a lot of grant money attached to it. Last year, we were able to get about $10,000 to support sustainability at the library and to help Westfield residents with weatherization and electrification. This year, through this process of climate action planning, we're eligible for $250,000 in grant money and more in the future. So I encourage you to support this resolution. It's both the right thing to do, it's the practical thing to do, it's what we should do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Bob McNamara, 603 Lawrence Avenue, Town Council members. In the last several months, I have attended 3 planning board meetings. In one, they reviewed development plans for a new mixed-use building on Elm Street, directly across from the Adams Tavern. The board asked reasonable questions. The applicant responded professionally. Everything went very well. On the opposite end of the spectrum, though, at the other 2 planning board meetings, the board was asked to review variance requests regarding Westfield Crossing. I was a little surprised because Westfield Crossing was the subject of a redevelopment plan, and the town had touted a redevelopment plan as giving us control. We were partners in that with the developer. The first variance was related to the south subzone. Instead of the parking being wholly within the building, the developer was moving a substantial amount of the parking to a surface lot bordering both the Windsor Avenue neighborhood and Garwood residences. We have been lectured over and over again by the town's planning consultant, Topology, that surface lots were obsolete, to be avoided at all costs. They were the antichrist of town planning. Yet, despite objections from Westfield and Garwood residents, the board acquiesced, not a peep from them. So we got a surface lot, taller retaining walls. When asked about AC units, it was confirmed that they would be built facing the Garwood neighborhood. Asked about trash collection, that too was going to be facing the Garwood neighborhood. I was truly disappointed in the un-neighborly attitude adopted by our planning board. The second variance request regarding Westfield Crossing was at the northern subzone. It was made by a proposed tenant, the Montessori School, child care provider. They wanted to replace the public central courtyard with a locked, gated playground to be used exclusively by the child care center. In taking the entire courtyard with this 9,000 square foot playground, they were in essence violating the redevelopment agreement by increasing their allowable use from 12,000 square feet to 21,000 square feet. 2 board members correctly pointed out that the proposal violated the intended use and, in fact, the spirit of the open space guidelines in the redevelopment agreement. Residents spoke up about concerns regarding traffic impacts, specifically the drop-off being used almost exclusively for the child care center. Residents also highlighted the excessive size of the private playground. Following state guidelines, this area could handle 250 children, far exceeding the projected enrollment that Montessori testified to. So instead of a compromise solution that could have still given the child care center a right-sized playground, a small public space that one of the board members was asking for, and then a reasonable, larger drop-off that could address traffic concerns, the board steamrolled over the 2 board members as well as the residents and accepted this oversized private playground. They only agreed to a post-occupancy traffic analysis to review the concerns of the residents. This will be too late. The playground will already be built. No reduction will take place. As a partner in this redevelopment agreement, you, the council, have the responsibility and the legal right to negotiate with the developer and reach compromises as issues like this arise. I would encourage the town council to be proactive in dealing with our planning board and standing up for our rights as a redevelopment partner. Thank you.
Anybody else? Seeing no further comments, I close this portion of the meeting. I'll just mention a few things. To Walter, is it Emily, is it Audrey, and Peter, thank you all for your support of the Climate Action Plan and for all your work in getting into it. It's amazing the length of that document, and I always tell people our green team is like the EPA, and it's quite impressive, so thank you. And I do want to thank Councilman Contract for his leadership on this as well, and I think I hope you'll see you have a very supportive council of it. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, David.
Yeah, I would just say, and I think I've said this publicly before, we're lucky to have the green team that we have. It's a bunch of volunteers who really care. 4 of them are here tonight, and I just want to say thank you. And I do want to especially thank Peter. We passed the community energy plan, I don't know, 4, 6, 8 weeks ago. Peter was really the primary author of that, and that might be the 70-page document that he was referring to. So Peter, thank you. It's a lot of work, but we really do try to come up with the right recommendations for this town to move us to a more sustainable future. And I hope the Climate Action Plan resolution passes, because it is the right next step for our community.
And Erica, if she's still here, I don't know if she's still, oh, there you are. You are a powerhouse. Seeing what you've been able to do with Project Playground and the women, and it was mostly women, organizing that fundraising is really unbelievable. And I think it's been, certainly doing the walk to school and seeing this has been a highlight for me. And apparently I'm a popular door prize. I'll be at the Jefferson event on Friday, and I guess I'm being auctioned off for something else as well. Yes. So looking forward to that, but congratulations for all the success, and we're very, very happy to support it. And I do want to give a hats off to our DPW as well, who've been really great partners, I know, with all of you on it. So congrats on that. And Jim, I don't know, do you want to address Rich's comments about the I don't know, the water supply issue or the draft?
Yeah, I'm not aware. Our water supplier is New Jersey American Water. We are in watershed 7, I believe, and so we'll have to look into more of that detail. But obviously, any issues that would be going on for now or the future, American Water is our partner. They would be advising us if there's any issues going forward. But that's something we'll definitely review that report and take a look at that. And I know you might mention something from Mr. Positin was up here. That took a lot of courage for him to do that.
It did.
He left. Okay, well, it's for those who don't know, Chief Baloro knows more than most, but he's, I don't know, done a lot of things to town employees and the police department for a while. So him coming here like that is a big deal.
It is. I'm sorry he left, because I wanted to acknowledge him as well. It was, that took a tremendous amount of courage, which most people don't even realize. So I don't know, Chief, whoever has his contact information, if someone could get back to him and let him know how much we appreciated him being here tonight. And,
Mayor?
Yeah.
Before we get to the topic of Rich's comment, I just wanted to add one thing, if I may.
Sure, of course.
The council had the opportunity to meet with Streetworks this week. We talked about the One Westfield Place project. They indicated that their traffic study needs to be reviewed and ultimately goes to the state DOT. And I asked, when that traffic study gets to be reviewed, does it account for example, the Sophia project, which hasn't been built yet, but we all know is coming? And they confirmed that the traffic study will include anticipated projects like the Sophia. So to the extent, I know you keep asking for a cumulative impact study, to me that was I appreciated that on their part, that it wasn't just taking into account what is there now, but taking into account what is coming. So hopefully that's all.
Mayor, I just add one thing to that.
Yeah.
I think, thank you, Councilman Cooper. I think they also mentioned the distance of there's actually 22 projects being taken into account in their study. And just a reminder that we're also waiting to participate in the county's impact study, which goes along the North and South Avenue corridors among multiple towns, including Westfield. So that's another, they got a grant for that, and they're just waiting to go through the grant process. So it's almost going to be sort of a double look at it from different perspectives. So but it was important that they confirmed that, which is good.
Yeah, and thank you, Councilman, for bringing that up, because I think sometimes us that were close make this assumption that everybody knows all that stuff. That One Westfield Place traffic study and impact study wasn't just about One Westfield Place. It did take into 22 projects that were anticipated, many not yet built. So it was essentially a cumulative impact study by nature of it. So, but always appreciate the comments. And lastly, Mr. McNamara, I do take a little issue with your characterization of the planning board. I sit on the planning board, as you well know, as does Councilman Dardia. And we sit there in our role as elected officials as well as planning board members, and we take those agreements and obligations very seriously. While you mentioned some of the things that you had issues with, you also failed to mention the remedies of those things. And so when you talk about the surface parking requirement, actually the public plaza that I had mentioned that's being deeded over the town was originally supposed to be a surface parking lot. And it was the council that insisted that we could do something better than that and relocate that parking spots to generate something that has a much greater public good. And we feel like we've landed in a really good place. And regarding the Apple Montessori, as I mentioned, that was a permitted use. The 12,000 square feet was a permitted use of the daycare center. And there is, as I mentioned in the previous meeting, there's also a government requirement for their certification that they have outdoor space. So it kind of goes hand in hand. And as I also mentioned, we toured Westfield Crossing a week or so ago with members of the planning board. And when they actually had the context and saw it, they said, oh, very comfortable with the decisions that they had made and very comfortable with the drop-off location and the circular of the driveway, which actually was much bigger when you got in person than what it appeared when it was presented. So I appreciate your comments. But as I've said repeatedly, our planning board is made up of planning professionals. There's planners, I think 2 planners, an architect, a civil engineer, certainly our fire chief, a land use attorney. We are really fortunate in Westfield to have this level of professionals serving on our planning board. So to imply that they're actually not delivering what's in the best interest and best planning principles for the town is actually a really disservice to all of them. So with that, we will move on, and I will ask Councilman Hapgood to move on to bills and claims.
Thank you, Mayor. All right. I'd like to move bills and claims in the amount of $954,599.77.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Dalmagala. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? This motion is carried. Next on the agenda is reports of standing committees, beginning with Finance Policy Committee. Councilman Hapgood.
Thank you again, Mayor. I have 12 resolutions, 9 of which I'd like to move as a package. The first, a resolution authorizing the CFO to refund Recreation Department fees. Second, a resolution authorizing the CFO to refund dumpster security payment. Third, a resolution authorizing the CFO to draw a warrant for unused parking permit fee. 4, a resolution authorizing the CFO to draw a warrant for the Board of Adjustment escrow monies. 5, a resolution authorizing the CFO to draw a warrant to Treasurer, State of New Jersey for marriage/civil union license fees. 6, a resolution authorizing the CFO to draw a warrant to refund overpaid sewer fees. 7, a resolution authorizing the CFO to draw a warrant for a risk management consultant fee. 8, a resolution to draw a resolution to defer the local school tax. 9, a resolution to read the municipal budget by title.
You have a second? Second by Councilman Contract. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? This motion is carried.
Next, I'd like to make a motion to amend the municipal budget.
May I have a second? Second by Councilman Contract. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmembers Hapgood,
Yes.
Dardia,
Yes.
Dalmagala,
Yes.
Kiefer,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Armento,
Yes.
Contract,
Yes.
Mackey, Mayor Redmond.
Yes, this motion is carried.
Next, I'd like to make a motion for the final adoption of the 2024 Special Improvement District budget.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Saunders. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmembers Hapgood,
Yes.
Dardia,
Yes.
Dalmagala,
Yes.
Kiefer,
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Armento?
Yes.
Contract? Yes. Mackey? Yes. Mayor Brindle?
Yes, this motion is carried.
Mayor? I
Yeah,
just want to thank the DWC board and Samantha Horning particularly. This is really her first full year budget, and I think they had a really great budget this year, but they changed the process and reorganized categories in the budget as well. So I think it was a very, very good process, and I know it was a big lift for her and the new committee members, which there are a lot of. So I think it's important to thank them.
And they're fortunate that our finance committee chair is also their liaison.
Exactly. Didn't hurt.
Yeah.
That's right.
And before I make my last motion, I just wanted to take a moment to thank the Finance Policy Committee for all the hard work over the last several months. We start this budget process at the end of the year, but that work is really done by our CFO, Scott Olson, by our Town Administrator, Jim Gilday, and by our Deputy Town Administrator, Heather Ray. All of that work is just enormous, and I just hope the town recognizes the talent that we have and all the hard work and determination and commitment that goes into putting a budget like this one together. It's the culmination of not only this year, but lots of years of planning that go into what I think is really a spectacular budget that allows us to not increase the municipal tax rate for residents, and also allows us to put a big investment back into the town in so many areas that I think all of us will really notice and appreciate for many years to come. So thank you, Jim, Heather, Scott in particular, for everything that you do to make sure that this town runs like clockwork when it comes to finances. It's a pleasure to work with you. And, to my Finance Policy Committee members, Councilman Kiefer and Damagala went through it for the first time this year, and I think had a good time.
It was good.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And Councilman Contract is back on the Finance Policy Committee with me, which is always a lot of fun. David, thank you for all the challenges you put for us, and but
That was nicely said.
he always makes us think hard, so it's a good thing. And so with that, unless any of you have any comments.
Maybe we can get a unison second.
I just want to say.
I haven't made the motion yet.
Yeah, no,
so,
I think we should also thank you, Councilman Hapgood, for your leadership over the last, 7 years now of the Finance Policy Committee. I've had the pleasure of serving on it for 6 of those 7 years, and so thank you. You put a lot of extra time and effort in beyond the 3 of us, and it shows. And I think this is a budget we can all be proud of.
I would just offer from the perspective of somebody who was new to the process, it was obviously incredibly enlightening, and I want to tell everybody in this town something that, you hope you know, but you don't know until you see it. We have an incredibly well-run town in a lot of different respects. We respect the value of money. We respect the burden that taxpayers have to pay to make the town hum. We come up with incredibly creative revenue sources that don't come from citizens' pockets, unless they get caught speeding or something like that, but that's different. But in all honesty, the town is incredibly well-run. It really is due to the many people here who aren't sitting on the council. We do our part, but they do their part every day. So, good job, Westfield.
And from myself, I won't repeat anything anybody else said. I enjoyed working with the entire group, yourselves. I appreciated the fact that you brought experience to us, and that we get to participate in that. I think we learned a lot from you, and hopefully we carry that forward.
Great.
Well, it's a big love fest up here, so with that.
Okay, so with that, I'll make my last motion for the final adoption of the 2024 municipal budget.
May I have a second?
Second.
By Councilman Contract, any discussion? I think we had it.
Yes, we had that discussion.
Please call the roll.
Councilmembers Hapgood?
Yes.
Dardia?
Yes.
Damagala?
Yes.
Kiefer?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Armento?
Yes.
Contract?
Yes.
Mackey?
Mayor Brindle, yes. Congratulations, everybody. Great year. Jim just exhaled. I was like, "Shit, okay." He's now thinking about 25 already. Next is the public
Jim
safety.
takes one day off,
He
and he'll
does.
start working on next year's budget on Thursday.
Next is the Public Safety Transportation Parking Committee, Councilman Dardia.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to move General Ordinance number 2024-09 on first reading, an ordinance to amend the code of the Town of Westfield, Chapter 13.
May I have a second? Second by Councilman Contract. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmembers Hapgood,
Yes.
Tardia,
Yes.
Palmagala,
Yes.
Kiefer,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Armento,
Yes.
Contract,
Yes.
Mackey, Mayor Ridwell.
Yes. This motion has carried. Next, Code Review and Town Property Committee, Councilman Contract.
Thank you, Mayor. I have two resolutions to move as a package. The first is a resolution to approve children's amusement device license for Spring Fling. And the second is a resolution supporting the development of the Climate Action Plan, which we referenced earlier.
May I have a second? Second by Councilman Mackey. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? This motion has carried.
I would also like to move General Ordinance number 2024-10 on first reading, an ordinance to amend the Code of Westfield, of the Town of Westfield, Chapter 11, Fire Protection, Article 3, Fire Prevention Code to amend and supplement with a new section for lead-based paint inspections. Just for the residents, this is based on new state requirements that municipalities have to inspect homes, I believe, built before 1978, or multi-use dwellings built before 1978 for lead-based paint. So any resident who's in one of those categories will likely be hearing from the town to comply with new state regulations. This will be led by our fire department, and it's the right thing to do.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Mackey. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmembers Hapgood,
Yes.
Tardia,
Yes.
Palmagala,
Yes.
Kiefer,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Armento,
Yes.
Contract,
Yes.
Mackey, Mayor Ridwell.
Yes, this motion has carried. And are the Knicks still playing? Are you going to catch them, Tom? May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? This motion is carried. This meeting is adjourned. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
It's a good team effort. Yeah, I'm gonna run because I have a 6 a.m. flight.